Your golden retriever goes rigid the moment you guide them toward the crate. They flatten on the floor, or they go in and immediately start throwing themselves at the door with a level of panic that makes you feel like a terrible person. And at some point, you decided, this dog just doesn't do crates. Here's what's actually happening. The crate isn't the problem. The way it was introduced is, and almost every golden retriever owner who says their dog hates the crate made one of 4 specific mistakes before their dog ever had a fair chance at seeing it differently. The good news is that all of these mistakes are reversible. The process just looks different from what most people try. I'm Emma, and the reason crate training specifically matters for golden retrievers more than for many other breeds is that this breed has a strong predisposition to separation anxiety. The crate is going to be the thing that stands between your dog and complete freedom during the hours when you can't supervise them. If it's associated with fear or confinement, you haven't solved the problem. You've created a more concentrated version of it inside a box. The full crate training protocol, including the day-by-day progression, is in the free guide at myfurkid.online/golden retriever, or link is in the pinned comment. But let's start with the mistake that causes the most damage, because it usually happens on day 1. The single most common crate training mistake is this: putting the dog in the crate before they've chosen to go in on their own. Most owners introduce the crate by guiding, luring, or placing the dog inside, closing the door, and assuming the dog will adjust. From the dog's perspective, they were placed in a small enclosed space, and the exit was sealed. That experience, confinement imposed from outside, is the one the dog will remember when they see the crate next time. The door of the crate should not close on your dog until they have voluntarily walked in and out at least a dozen times across multiple sessions. Voluntary entry means the dog has agency. Agency changes the emotional experience of what happens next. Confinement without agency creates the dog who goes rigid at the door. The second mistake is size. Most owners buy a full adult-sized crate for a puppy because it's economical. The dog will grow into it. The result is weeks of house training confusion that the owner can't explain. For crate training to work as a house training tool, the crate needs to be just large enough for the dog to stand, turn around, and lie down. Nothing more. A crate with excess space allows the puppy to use one corner as a bathroom and sleep in the other, eliminating the primary mechanism by which crate training builds house training. Puppies instinctively avoid soiling their sleeping area. If the sleeping area is only one part of the crate, the instinct doesn't apply. A divider panel, available for most wire crates, reduces the space as needed and expands as the puppy grows. The third mistake is timing, and it's the most fixable. Dogs cannot relax in a crate when they have unspent physical energy. The state a dog needs to be in when they go into the crate for conditioning purposes is calm, slightly tired, and not in a heightened arousal state. A puppy who has been active and playing and is now full of energy does not go into the crate and settle. They go into the crate and escalate. The protocol that produces success is simple. Exercise before every crate session during the conditioning phase. 20 minutes of active play, then the crate. A tired golden retriever puppy placed in a familiar crate with a frozen Kong will be asleep within minutes. The same puppy placed in a crate after sitting inside all morning will throw themselves at the door for an hour. Now here is the one that splits opinion, and where most of the confusion lives. When a dog cries in the crate, should you leave them or respond? The honest answer is, it depends on what kind of crying it is. There's a mild fussing and whining that a dog who is being gradually conditioned goes through in the early stages. It typically starts, plateaus, and diminishes within 10 to 15 minutes as the dog self-regulates. This is not distress. This is frustration. Leaving the dog through, this teaches them that the crate is survivable and that the crying doesn't open the door. But there's a different quality of distress, escalating panic, self-injury behavior, inability to settle at all after 20 minutes, that signals a dog who is not yet ready for the duration being asked of them, or who has trauma associated with confinement. Responding to that is not spoiling the dog. Continuing to leave that dog is adding to the trauma. The intervention that changes crate training faster than anything else is food, specifically high-value food that only appears inside the crate. A frozen Kong stuffed with peanut butter or wet food, a bully stick, a long-lasting chew, whatever your specific dog considers the most valuable food in their world. For the first 2 to 3 weeks of crate conditioning, every single entry is paired with this reward. The dog never gets this food anywhere else. Over days, the dog's brain builds a specific association. Crate equals the best thing that ever happens with food. You will know this has worked when your dog starts going to the crate voluntarily before you've asked. We detail the full Kong preparation protocol in the free guide at MyFurKid online Golden Retriever. Link is in the pinned comment. The fourth mistake is using the crate as a consequence. The dog chewed something, they went to the crate. The dog jumped on a guest, they went to the crate. This is the fastest and most durable way to make the crate aversive, and it's also the most understandable. The crate is right there, it provides immediate management, and it feels like a logical consequence. The problem is that the dog doesn't understand why they're in the crate. They understand that when something happens, the crate appears. And since from the dog's perspective, getting in trouble is a high-stress moment, the crate becomes associated with high-stress states. The crate must be neutral to positive at all times without exception. It is never where the dog goes because something bad happened. Here is the Golden Retriever specific layer that makes crate training slightly different for this breed than for most. Golden Retrievers are prone to separation anxiety, significantly more than many other breeds. Being in an enclosed space is one stressor. Being separated from the owner is another. When you put a Golden Retriever who isn't fully crate conditioned in a crate and leave the house, you've introduced both stressors simultaneously. This is why the crate conditioning for a Golden should happen in stages. First, crate with owner in the same room. Then crate with owner across the room, but visible. Then owner out of sight, but in the house. Then owner out of the house, briefly. Each stage requires that the dog is comfortable before moving to the next. Skipping stages is what produces the dog who appears fine in the crate when you're home and panics the moment you leave. For owners whose dog has already developed a strong negative association with the crate, who has been forced in, who has associated it with punishment, who panics at the door, the process is slower, but the same. You're not training crate acceptance. You're systematically replacing an existing negative association with a positive one. Start with the crate door removed entirely. Feed every meal in the crate with no door for a week. Then add the door but leave it open while they eat. Then close the door for 5 seconds while they finish eating, then open immediately. Build from there in 5-second increments. The dog who was terrified of the crate 6 weeks ago can become a dog who sleeps in it voluntarily. The free guide at myfurkid.online Golden Retriever has the full reversal protocol. Link is in the pinned comment. Here's the complete picture. Your Golden Retriever doesn't hate crates. They have a specific negative association with the crate they've experienced, built through one or more specific mistakes. Confinement before voluntary entry, a size that doesn't support house training, timing that put them in before they were calm, crying that was misread, punishment association, or the two-stressor problem unique to this breed's separation sensitivity. Every one of these is fixable. The crate, done correctly, is not a tool of confinement. It's a den, a place the dog chooses to go when the world is too much, when they need to rest, when they want to feel safe. That version of the crate is worth the work to build. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you next week.